"You're worthless." Those were the words Dallas Mavericks coach Dick Motta screamed at his star player Mark Aguirre during one of their many heated battles. But here's the crazy part. This worthless player would go on to become a two-time NBA champion and prove everyone wrong. The story of Mark Aguirre isn't just about conflict. It's about one of the most amazing transformations in basketball history. Mark Aguirre was never supposed to be a problem player. Back at DePaul University, he was basketball royalty. As a high school senior in 1978, he earned third-team parade All-American honors and was named a McDonald's All-American. But college is where he really showed his magic. Over 3 seasons with the Blue Demons, Aguirre put up incredible numbers. He averaged 24.5 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 3.3 assists per game while shooting over 54% from the field. His freshman year was special. Aguirre led DePaul to a Final Four appearance in 1979, though they lost to Larry Bird's Indiana State team. Still, that run put him on the map as a future superstar. By 1980, everyone knew who Mark Aguirre was. He won National Player of the Year awards from the Associated Press, United Press International, and the U.S. Basketball Writers Association. He also took home the James Naismith Award and Adolph Rupp Trophy. For 2 straight years, 1980 and 1981, he was named a consensus first-team All-American. DePaul loved him so much they retired his number 24. Only one other player in school history got that honor, the legendary George McCon. In 2016, Aguirre was inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame. His college career was perfect. No drama, no problems, just pure basketball excellence. So what changed when he got to the pros? The Dallas Mavericks made Aguirre the first overall pick in the 1981 NBA draft. They were an expansion team in just their second year, and they needed a superstar to build around. Aguirre understood the pressure but kept it simple. He said he didn't care about being drafted first because players could be there 2 or 3 years and then be gone. But he called it an honor to be considered the best college player. If you're enjoying this story about one of basketball's most misunderstood players, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Do you think college success always translates to the pros? At first, everything looked perfect in Dallas. Aguirre became the offensive engine for the Mavericks, and the stats prove he was elite. From 1982 to 1988, he averaged over 22 points per game for 6 straight seasons. His best year came in 1983 to 84, when he averaged 29.5 points per game and finished second in the entire league in scoring, behind only Adrian Dantley. The accolades kept coming. Aguirre made 3 NBA All-Star teams in 1984, 1987, and 1988. He's still third on the Mavericks' all-time scoring list with 13,930 points, trailing only legends like Dirk Nowitzki and his teammate Rolando Blackman. The team. Success was there too. In 1984, the Mavericks made their first ever playoff appearance. 4 years later, they reached the Western Conference Finals, which was their longest postseason run at that point. So if Aguirre was putting up great numbers and leading his team to success, why was there so much drama? The answer lies in his relationship with coach Dick Motta. Their feud was so intense that Dallas newspapers called it the 6-Year War. Motta was old school and believed in tough love. He was a veteran coach who thought he could break Aguirre like a thoroughbred horse. Motta's methods included publicly shaming his star player and putting criticism in the newspaper. He once said he had told Aguirre things he wouldn't say to his dog. The breaking point came during a March game against Detroit. Aguirre got ejected after complaining to officials, even though Motta had warned the team to expect a tough game. As Aguirre walked past the bench, Motta confronted him. That's when Aguirre fired back with those famous words, "I don't give a damn about the game." The argument continued in the locker room at halftime, where Motta called his star player a coward and quitter. The shouting match almost turned into a fight, and teammate James Donaldson had to step between them. Another time during the 1984-85 season, Motta called Aguirre a quitter again, and Aguirre demanded a trade. Motta's response was brutal. "Nobody wants you." The toxic relationship between coach and player poisoned the entire locker room. Teammates like Rolando Blackman, Derek Harper, and James Donaldson got caught in the middle. Derek Harper said it was sometimes very difficult to keep your mind on your job with everything that was happening. Rolando Blackman became the steadying force who tried to keep the team together when the feuding threatened to tear it apart. When Aguirre was finally traded, the relief from his teammates was obvious. Sam Perkins, who had been Aguirre's teammate for 4 years, said, "Today should be an all-day party because he's gone. Good luck, Detroit, because you're going to need it." The fans and media weren't any kinder. Aguirre was seen as a bad actor with an attitude problem. One Mavericks employee half-jokingly called him the Antichrist. Some fans accused him of refusing to play in games and faking injuries. The media said he choked in big games and couldn't finish when it mattered most. By 1989, the situation had become impossible. Aguirre was tired of all the turmoil and pain. He begged team owner Don Carter and vice president Rick Sund to trade him. Even Carter, who had hoped Aguirre would spend his entire career in Dallas, finally agreed that the gulf between the player and the team was too big to fix. On February 15, 1989, everything changed. The Mavericks traded Mark Aguirre to the Detroit Pistons for Adrian Dantley and a first-round draft pick. The trade was reportedly the idea of Aguirre's childhood friend from Chicago's West Side, Isaiah Thomas. Dantley himself believed that Thomas had orchestrated the whole deal to bring his boyhood friend to Detroit. Interestingly here, Detroit had their own problem player. Adrian Dantley was considered a ball stopper who feuded with Pistons coach Chuck Daly. He had even refused to be substituted for Dennis Rodman during a game, so in a way both teams were trading their problem children. But here's where the story gets amazing. In Detroit, Mark Aguirre became a completely different player. He went from being the main scorer on an expansion team to being a role player on a championship contender. And he loved it. The numbers tell the story of his sacrifice. While he averaged 21.7 points per game in his final season with Dallas, his scoring dropped to just 12.9 points per game with the Pistons. But this wasn't because he got worse. It was because he chose team success over personal stats. Isaiah Thomas understood what his friend had given up. He once said that Aguirre basically flushed down the toilet a Hall of Fame career to be a champion. That's how much Aguirre was willing to sacrifice for the team. The impact was immediate. Aguirre helped the Pistons win back-to-back NBA championships in 1989 and 1990. During the 1989 Eastern Conference Finals against the Chicago Bulls, he led Detroit in scoring with 25 points in a key Game 3 loss, and averaged 13.7 points and 4.8 rebounds for the series. What made Aguirre so valuable wasn't just his scoring. His offensive skills were perfect for what Detroit needed. He could drive to the basket, post up smaller players, and shoot from both the mid-range and three-point line. Larry Bird, one of the greatest players ever, said that getting Aguirre turned the Pistons into champions because he was somebody opponents needed to double-team. Maybe most importantly, Aguirre willingly gave up his starting spot and minutes to Dennis Rodman. This move helped unlock Rodman's potential as a defensive force and rebounding machine. It showed that Aguirre could be selfless and team-first when he was in the right environment. The transformation was so complete that people started to wonder if the problems in Dallas were really Aguirre's fault, or if he had just been in a toxic situation. In Detroit, he embraced the bad boys culture and became a beloved teammate. There were no public feuds, no drama, just winning basketball. Today, Mark Aguirre's career presents an interesting puzzle. He finished with 18,458 career points, which ranks 78th on the NBA's all-time scoring list. His college career was brilliant. National Player of the Year, two-time All-American, and a Final Four appearance. His pro career included 3 All-Star selections and 2 NBA championships. So why isn't he in the Basketball Hall of Fame? The answer probably lies in his reputation during those Dallas years. The Hall of Fame considers character and reputation alongside on-court performance, and Aguirre's public image as a problem player has likely hurt his. Chances he never won an MVP award or made an All-NBA team, with his highest MVP voting finish being 11th in 1984. But his supporters, led by Isaiah Thomas, believe his induction should be a no-brainer. They argue that his complete career, including both his college dominance and his professional success, makes him worthy of basketball's highest honor. The real lesson of Mark Aguirre's career isn't about conflict or controversy. It's about how environment shapes a player. In Dallas, he was stuck in a toxic relationship with his coach and couldn't escape the negative cycle. But in Detroit, surrounded by players and coaches who believed in team-first basketball, he flourished. Aguirre proved that a player's reputation can change when they find the right situation. He went from being called worthless to becoming a champion. His story shows that sometimes what looks like a character flaw is really just a bad fit. Mark Aguirre's legacy should be about transformation and redemption. He was a college superstar who became a professional champion. Yes, there were difficult years in Dallas, but that was only part of his story. The complete picture shows a player who was willing to sacrifice everything for team success when given the chance. What do you think? Does Mark Aguirre deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe for more stories about basketball's most fascinating players. Aguirre's journey from controversy to championship proves that sometimes the most criticized players can become the most valuable teammates when they find their perfect home.